to our channel.
Welcome, lad.
Today is our first official episode.
Yay!
And it's all going to start off with the basics like we said last time. And today's episode is going to be about CV writing skills.
Yes, CV writing skills. Guys, this is a very important topic which I also feel just doesn't get covered, man. And like, especially when we're like 16 and we're trying to find our first job, no one really tells us what's supposed to be in a CV. And I think right now in this day and age is so important because I see the younger generation being more hungry for their money and everyone wants to be independent, and the first step to doing that is applying for a job, and without a CV you can't apply for a job. So this one's for you guys who need to know how to write a CV, or if you've got a job and you're looking for a new job, how to tailor it for your new job. Like all of that goodness is going to be covered in this episode.
What is a CV is what we're going to cover right now. So for any of you who don't know what a CV is, someone who's never applied probably wouldn't know. So we're talking more of the younger generation. A CV is literally just a short piece of documentation that will cover your experiences, your job skills, a little bit about you, just for an employer to get to know you a bit better. For any of you that's not had a job in the past, obviously it will be just your education. Things you have gained from your education, so knowledges,
your qualifications, GCSEs, A-levels, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry, you think, oh my god, I haven't had experience from a past job, there's nothing for me to put down, because there's a lot that you can put down in terms of the knowledge you have gained from school, your hobbies, because that still makes an employer like, okay, this person likes doing this, they can be good for this sort of job role.
First things first, things that you need to take into consideration when writing your CV is...
First, you have to make sure the CV is in a correct order. It needs to be a professional piece of document with a chronological order.
Yes.
Starting off with your contact details. So that is your name, your address, your contact details, as in your mobile number and email.
So, right, going on from details, the next step you want to take into consideration is profile description. This employer probably gets so many CVs dished out to them a day. That is one of the first things they see, and they don't want to be bored. So we need to keep it fun, we need to keep it moving. They need to have to keep reading the rest of your CV. So the profile description is basically a little bit about yourself. However, it will be tailored to whatever job that you are applying to. So, for example, if you are applying to be, let's say, a makeup artist, okay? If you're applying to be a makeup artist, you'd want to maybe chuck in a few words like, I'm creative. You want to say approachable, things that they would look for.
From going on from profile description, the next thing is qualifications. Always make sure you state your most recent qualification and then going downwards. So it can be your GCSEs. For some of you who are just starting, it will just be your GCSEs. If you have got a uni degree, normally just put your uni degree. You don't have to put your GCSEs thereafter because they know you've obviously got your GCSE to obviously get your bachelor's or whatever it is that you have.
Okay, so guys, soon after your qualifications will then be employment details. So like Jay said, if you are just starting and you're looking out for your first job in your career, you will not have to worry about this. Focus on your grades, your GCSEs, your A-levels, any extra curriculum you guys are doing in school. That would be great, like such as like being a prefect or hosting a little social club or anything like that. That would be super. But then if you are someone that has had previous job experience, now is your time to put it on your CV. So straight after qualifications, you would put your employment details. So that would also go in order of when you had then started that job. So again, your most recent job would be right at the top, and then the rest would follow down. In that would cover the job, obviously, the job title, skills that you may have gained during that job, that would also fit to the new job that you were applying to.
And also remember to put the year you worked from to, which will give an idea for the employer how long you've been working for. Also, if there's any gaps in between your employment, so you've got a job from, I don't know, 2019 to 2021, but before that you wasn't working for a year, you should put a brief description of what you was doing that year and maybe the skills you gained during that time. It's very important that you fill in gaps, because employees like to see that. Even it's fine if you didn't have a job, but make sure you cover what you did and the skills that you gained that you can transfer onto the job that you're applying for. They love to see that.
Yeah, even in terms of activities, hobbies, all of that good stuff, of course you can list them, but we need to bear in mind what we're listing. It won't be just every little thing you've done. It would again be tailored to what you think that employer would love to read on that paper.
Yes, and also for the younger generation, 16-year-olds, try and get some experience through voluntary work, some work placement. I know it's like, oh, I don't want to work for free. It's never fun working for free, but we all have to start somewhere. And it's really good that if you go out your way and look for these skills, even if it's in something that you actually like. So if you can ask someone if you can just observe them while they're doing photography or anything like that, even if you're not actually putting the work in, but you're observing, showing that you're willing to learn, and you can transfer that onto your CV. It looks great. So don't feel like you won't have anything to say. If you can put the effort in and go that extra mile, there will always be something to write about. So make sure you do it.
Make sure you guys do that. I know sometimes, like Jay said, it's not fun, but you need to think of how it will benefit your future. And sometimes you may be surprised. You might not think you enjoy something, and then you look at it and it actually is very eye-opening, and you'll be like, oh, like that's a bit of me, I like that. So just always keep an open mind. You don't really know what's going to come and hit you, and you might really enjoy it. So
And also, just adding on to that from past experience, when you do voluntary work, and if the employer does like you, they can always want to keep you on. So when you do hit that age of 16 and you're legally ready to get a job, they might be like, would you like a job here? Even if it's just a weekend job. That's great. So lastly, you just put in your hobbies. So this bit is where you just talk about anything that you like doing in your spare time. It could be reading a book, going to the movies, and this just gives an insight of your character and your personality for the employer, which also helps.
And then right at the end, you would then finish off with your references. You don't necessarily have to name your references. You can literally just put references upon request. And then if they show interest, they will then contact you and ask you for details, and then that's how you would exchange details.
So the next thing we're going to talk about is things to consider. Okay, so when writing a CV, there's a few points that you should consider, which is very, very vital. It can make someone pick you or be like, rubbish. Okay,
it's make or break, y'all. Make or break. Let me tell you. So guys, number one on things to consider, I would start off with is personality. Personality is so important, and you need to understand that these people are looking at a piece of paper and they're trying to get some personality out of it. Personality, you need to be looking at all those fun, quirky adjectives that describe you. Also, it needs to fit your job title, so just bear that in mind. But things like, you know, independent, quirky, chatty, approachable, all those ones, those are good ones.
Next thing to consider is keywords. Is whenever you apply for a job, it is very important for you to read the job description. And while you're reading it, if my personal opinion is to jot down or highlight some of the key words they mention, as in, so if you're applying for a digital creative sort of job and the job description says we need a very creative, someone with new ideas, so creative ideas, those are like keywords that you'll pull out and then transfer that onto your CV. So make sure you look out for those, and you're basically promoting yourself, letting them know, I can do that, this is me, this is who I am, like, pick me.
Pick me. Right, guys, so moving on to number 3. So the length of your CV cannot be more than 2 pages. Minimum 1, maximum 2. From my experience, when I wrote my most recent CV, I'm just going to tell you guys, if you have too many jobs and you're like, oh my god, this is hitting more than 2 pages, you just need to start removing some of the old jobs and keep it current. It needs to be your most recent to your least. But if there's way too many jobs on that CV, just stop removing.
So the next thing to consider is a cover letter. So a cover letter is not something that's necessary. So not every employer asks for it. And some who do ask for it give you the option to upload it. So it's not something you have to do. It's always good to do a cover letter, only because it's another version of a CV, but it's more in-depth. Really go in depth of your experiences, your skills in the letter, because like Priya said, no one wants to see a 2-page CV. It gets long, it gets boring. So when your CV does stand out to an employer and they want to get to know a bit more about you, the cover letter will help do that.
It's kind of like a personal statement, like, you know, when you guys apply to UCAS and you have to do that like page of everything about you, basically. It's kind of just like that.
That is very true.
Okay, guys, and moving on to our last point on things to consider is, of course, fonts, font sizes, colours, all of that stuff. Now, I know us guys back in the day used to love Comic Sans.
No.
It's just not happening. We cannot, unfortunately, put Comic Sans on our CV. It needs to be Arial, something simple, nice. The font size can't be more than 12, 14. Can't be any bigger than that. It needs to be very professional. I have seen in the past some people put borders, because I know Word lets you put borders and stuff like that and like create little templates. You can do that. Just choose your colour scheme wisely, so keep it quite monotone, keep it like nudes, maybe neutral. Yeah, keep it very neutral.
Yeah, just very subtle, really, isn't it? Subtle and make it look professional.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about looking professional, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember, chronological order. Yeah, important.
Exactly, guys. Guys, now that we've spoken on things to consider, we're now going to move on to things that you need to avoid when writing your CV. So let's just get straight into it.
So one of the main things that people like doing, especially 16-year-olds, yeah?
Me, I was one of them.
Oh my god, no. I thought you...
No, it's so embarrassing.
I thought better of you, honey. No, I'm playing, guys. One main thing is your email address. Oh my god, please. You know the email address that you just made up for fun?
For your MSN.
For your MSN, yeah.
For stalking your girl.
Or
Princess Priya, all of them ones.
Nah, get rid, yeah? You have to make a new email address. It's always nice when it's just got your full name. If it's taken, just make sure it's got your name, couple numbers. If it doesn't allow you to put your full name because someone else has already got it, just make sure it's very professional. Candy girl at hotmail.co.uk.
Oh hell no, can you imagine? So first impression is the last impression always, guys. That's the first thing they're seeing, and they do not want to see Candy Girl written on their CV piece of paper. So we need to cut that out, and we need to make professional,
don't do it,
professional email addresses. So guys, number 2 is to always get someone to check over the CV. So the same way you would get someone to maybe check over your coursework, your essays, proofread it, the same way you need to do that for your CVs, because sometimes you might not see things that they might see. For example, if you keep using and you're just going with the flow, if you find, maybe, so if I was writing that and I was like, Jay, can you take a look at it? She might say, Pri, like there's too many ands in here, it's just too repetitive, you've used team player too many times, you've used this too many times. Yes. So you need a fresh pair of eyes. And also we need to check for spelling errors. Spelling errors is you cannot be making spelling errors.
It's not a good look, honey.
Yeah.
It's not a good look. A good tool to use is Grammarly. It's free. And it's so good. It will check your grammar, so not just your spelling, but your full stop, commas, where it needs to go, all of that stuff. So it is a very good tool. So.
We'll leave the link down below for you guys.
Yes,
and you can pass it on. It's a really cool tool to use, and it's just one to take advantage of. Like, why not? It's there for you guys to take advantage of. Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, guys, another thing to avoid, which is major, which can be very tempting, but it's major, is do not lie about anything, okay? So not your qualification, not where you've worked. Let's say you've said you've worked somewhere but you haven't. Do not do it.
Just don't do it.
It's not. Don't lie about anything. Be yourself. Be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't feel like there's nothing I can't write about. Or I'm not good enough, or none of those sort of thoughts. Just
we don't want negative thoughts.
No, whatever you have to offer, you put that on paper. Yeah. Just be you.
Right, guys, another thing to avoid is we don't want to use any repetitive words. So I've kind of already spoken about this. It's just the whole I, like you don't want to be saying that all the time. You don't want to say and I'm this and I'm this and I'm this and I'm that. That's boring. Like, you need to rephrase it, and just the same words like hardworking or you know those kind of ones. You want to just keep an eye on that. I know, like, you might find that in some of your other previous jobs you've got the same skills, if that makes sense. They kind of intertwine with each other. You don't want to then repeat it. So if you've got another job and you can think of another skill, put that instead of the same one you've already done for a previous one.
And the last thing we would like to point out for things to avoid is a messy layout. Try and have a nice layout. Just use bullet points if you want to make it very brief and quick. Employers like that, but don't use bullet point for everything. So have your little paragraph, maybe bullet points for your qualification or your work experiences, but everything else try and make it short little summaries, little paragraphs, nothing too big. Don't put paragraphs like in boxes, nothing like that.
No
just
chunky
have
paragraphs
it
either.
in like small step-by-step layout, which will look more professional, quick to read, and yeah, that's basically everything that you need to avoid. And one thing I would like to say is go follow our Instagram. Get Hustle Hungry. On our Instagram, we've got an email tab where you can email us. Or we'll leave the email address below. If any of you need help or just want proofreading, any of that little stuff to do with CV writing, email us.
We're here for you guys all the time, honestly. And thank you for all your support that you guys have been showing us on our page. We kind of put up pictures and videos and hope for a little bit of interaction, and you guys have been giving that to us, so we're super grateful for that. And just, if you haven't already, like, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like the video, write some comments down below, and yeah, that is all we can ask of you guys. And press the notification button. Oh my god, because we post every Monday without fail. So don't miss it, honey. That's it from us. Bye.